To order. Roll call, please.
Mr. Boda.
Here.
Mr. Knotts.
Here.
Mr. Blackstock.
Here.
Cram's here. Mr. Petzhaus and Mr. Horner excused. Mr. Simons.
Here. All present and accounted for. Ralph, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, moving on, we have the approval of the agenda. I would suggest that we move the closed session down to below members' comments, which is right underneath announcements. And then we can go back, we'll come back into open session and then we'll adjourn.
Okay.
And I think that'll make everything move a little, because we want to do that drone language, and it'll only take a minute.
So
With that
moved.
change, is there a second?
Support.
Oh, support. All right, it's been moved and supported that we approve the agenda with the corrections. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Moving on to approving the minutes of July 18, 2016.
If there are no additions or corrections, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of July 18th, 2016.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve the minutes of July 18, 2016. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak about anything that's not on the agenda? Okay, hearing none. Next, we have the consent agenda. We have the C1 June 2016 St. Clair Fire Report.
I thought you just moved closed session up under public comment.
What's that?
I thought you just moved closed session up under public comment. Didn't we just do
No.
that?
Members count.
Underneath the members' comments,
Okay, I'm sorry.
which it isn't on your sheet. You got to write it in under announcements.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
All right,
I got my, changed my
is there any-
arrows here.
thing on the consent agenda for the fire report?
A lot of, I noticed there were a lot of canceled en routes to Bree Road.
Yeah, we have a rash of them there on Bree Road. There's a couple of people in there that are using it.
There's three councils on the runs.
Were they medicals?
There's a fire at Riverdale, Scottsboro, that was canceled en route. Its incident date was 6/14/2016. Another one was 6/25. It was a medical, was just canceled en route to Bray Road, 500 Bray Road.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what we're gonna deal with the hospital one. We're gonna try and deal with that, but, that's another story.
And another one that was canceled was, again, 333 Bree.
Mhm.
Medical was canceled en route.
Okay, if that's all the discussion, we need a motion to accept the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to disbursements, we have invoice for $106,149.22. We have accounts payable of $115,976.86. We have a payroll of $15,486.25. We have a payroll direct deposit of $14,161.51. We have the EFTs of $41,353.81. We have a tax account of $235,000, $936.70 for a total disbursements of $529,064.35.
I'll make a motion, we approve all disbursements for $529,064.35.
Support.
Been moved and supported that we pay the bills in the sum of $529,064.35. Is there any further discussion?
I have one question.
Mhm.
Who is Blue Tarp Financial?
Who's what?
Who is Blue Tarp Financial?
That's lumberjacks.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's their parent company, I believe it is.
Okay, thank you.
I just happen to know that.
All right.
They're the ones that the commercial accounts.
Well, it was
Deal with.
curious that
Yeah.
a financial company was getting charged for all this
No.
goodies that we use around here. Okay.
Any other comments on the disbursements? Hearing none, all in favor, roll call, please.
Mr. Blackstock.
Yes.
Mr. Knox.
Yes.
Mr. Boda.
Yes.
Cram, yes. Mr. Simons.
Yes, motion carries, we pay the bills. Moving on to new business, we have a hire of a DPW labor, grade 50 at $22.43 per hour. We had quite a few applicants for the job, narrowed it down to 4 or 5. We interviewed. The board, the interviewing committee came up with a name, and the name is Donald Lenarski. We're recommending that we hire him. We have a second choice if he doesn't work out. So, we need the help in the DPW. We're down, this is replacing the job that Jeff Hill went to the sewer plant.
Well, I'll make a motion that we offer the job of DPW labor, grade 50 at $22.43 an hour to Donald Lenarski.
I'll support.
Could you also include in your motion that if something comes where he can't do it, that we can hire the second person, or would you rather not do it that way?
Well, if we don't, then you have to wait another
Another
2
2
weeks, right?
Who is the second person?
I would rather not disclose that right now. We can leave it like that. That's fine. We'll leave it just with Donald Lenarski. Okay, is there any further discussion on this DPW labor's job?
Do you need does the motion need to include a start date, or is that something that's fixed at a later period?
The start would be as soon as he can get here and pass the physical
Okay.
and the background check.
Okay, at the supervisor's convenience then, thank you.
Okay? So he has to pass the background check and the physical. So is there any further discussion on Donald Lenarski? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, we hire Donald Lenarski. All right, moving on to unfinished business. And in your packet, we have I talked a little bit about it at the last meeting, the drone language on the park ordinance. If the board is in favor of adding that to the ordinance, then we will get it typed up, and then we'll have the first public reading of it at our next meeting. Did you see it in the back of your packet? It's pretty basic.
Pretty generic. Well, I guess evidently the guards over at the Edison have seen the guy up on top of the sleigh hill flying one of these helicopter type deals, drones off the hill, going over to the Edison property and snooping around over there all over the place.
Really?
So,
And I'll just read what what we want to add to the ordinance. And it was under 343-3, we're adding another sub-letter I, and it reads, drones and unmanned aircraft. No person shall launch, land, or operate unmanned aircraft at any township administrated property, including public parks. So I'll have that typed up and put in there then.
Could I ask, I'm pretty ambivalent about it, is what precipitates this?
We had it started off with the Edison came over and said that they're flying these drones, like Mr. Boda said, out of our park, and they're going over the Edison property, which is illegal. But we're not here to administer the Edison. I had the park manager in here the other day, and she said they're flying them in the park, they're flying them over the kiddyscape. They're flying them down by people's heads, they're flying them low in the park. She's concerned that somebody could get hurt. So, we're not doing it just for Detroit Edison. I mean, to me, that's up to them to manage who's flying, but.
Can we administratively restrict them using the airspace over the park? This will prevent them from standing in the park flying them. But what about if he's standing on the road out there and launches one?
Well, I don't think there's anything we can do about that, I don't know. I didn't get into that part of it. But we don't want them operating, I guess we could call the police if they were, and I don't know if the county has anything on them.
Well, it's just a thought. I'm just wondering, those things, as you mentioned, he's been flying over Edison from our property.
Right.
What's to prevent them from just starting out there at the
On
corner
20, on the.
and flying it
Road.
anywhere he wants,
And the Edison security ought to get after them if they do
Right.
that.
Or I think then we could call but this covers other things that they're flying in the park too, radio controlled and, electronic type stuff in the park.
I'm just wondering, if we ought to look, before you start writing it, then you might look at, what do we have as a ability to control the lower airspace over the park? I know
Okay,
that-
I can
I
ask
know
that.
that once you get up to a certain height, it's FAA, and you can't do nothing about it. But maybe you can control the first 100 feet or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I know you can't fly over like the Capitol, there's a controlled airspace,
Yeah,
unlimited.
that goes all the way up, but I mean.
And there is over airports.
There is a
and-
normal level, like above your house, that, how much of the air above your house, for example, is you.
I know, I think an
space it.
airplane, they're not supposed to go down below 500 feet.
But I wonder if we could control the airspace down to
All
a
right,
certain
I'll ask
level.
that question.
Couple
There's
hundred-
not a rush
A
on-
couple of 100 feet would be nice, if you could, I don't know.
I'll ask that question.
So we're tabling this till we know the
Yeah.
answer.
You want to table this until the next?
Yeah, we'll table it until,
I make a motion, we table the drones in the park, language till next meeting.
I'll support. All right, it's been moved and supported that we table the drone language to the park ordinance. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have announcements. I guess I really don't have any announcements, other than I attended a couple meetings. One, they're talking about increasing the landfill tipping rates. And the other one is, and there's more to come, I just got a letter on my desk this afternoon. The county wants to do a countywide ORV ordinance for the county, and they would like us to participate in it. But I'll bring more on that later. And the other big thing is I got a letter from the County Road Commission. We have to put in for what we want to do for our county match money, like how we paved Urban Drive and all that. So I want to do the north end, Catherine. So I've called up Mike Zobolitz, the DPW foreman. He's coming in next week, and we're going to go around and see what kind of a program we can put together on the bad roads up there and get them together so we can capitalize on that match money. Other than that, I don't have anything. Moving on to member comments. Mr. Boda.
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Mr. Graham?
I just want to remind everybody to vote tomorrow.
Mr. Blackstone?
Nope. What's that?
Yeah, just saying, make sure everybody comes out and votes. You can't complain if you don't vote.
Okay. The only comment I have is I've had a lot of questions about whether I'm seeking this office, and I am. I will not be on the ballot, but I'll be on the ballot in November, so that's all I want to say about that. With that, a motion to go into closed session would be in order.
I'll make that motion.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we go into closed session to talk about union contract with our attorney.
We go to closed session, you have to state the reason.
I did. Union contract. And the other thing, we will be coming back into open session, and we will not be conducting any other business other than to adjourn.
See you guys later.
Okay, take care.
So, other discussion about going into closed session? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are in closed session.